Hi, this is Marie Panzarella, August 29th, 2020. You know, back east, we learned to go fearlessly forward. We picked the biggest, the toughest, and the worst badass involved, and if we had to stand on a stool to knock them down, we took care of what is ours. Out west, I just don't get what is allowed to be going on without any federal invasion of the corruption, which nobody here, no normal people here, know how to handle. Everybody runs in fear. They all have children or grandchildren, and here I am trying to get across to everybody what is going on. October 3rd, 2007, I woke up. I proceeded to go to Kendall's house. No one was there. His car was gone. Then I went to his one school, Prescott High School. He wasn't there. I even checked his classes. Wasted time. And then I went to his other school, and he wasn't there. And then I went to his job, and he wasn't there. His job that didn't even bother to acknowledge Kendall for all the hard work he did, and his schools that didn't bother to tell the truth about what happened to my son and other children like him, but only Kendall died. Then I went back to his house, which this is the part no one knows, and Kendall's car was parked there. Now, the first time I knocked on the door, this time the only thing I didn't do was kick the door down because I heard whispering. I heard people whispering. I went home and nobody would let me in. I went home immediately and called Kendall's father, crying. I knew something was wrong. Not 2 hours later, Detective Johnson came to my house with two bereavement people, women, to tell me that my son, Kendall Lune, had passed. The three officers that were involved in this, it wasn't an investigation. The three officers that had found Kendall with the young man who was set up by Morgan and Kite and to find Kendall were Detective Johnson, Sutton, and I believe the other officer was Thomas. Now, Detective Johnson told me that Officer Sutton was reviewing the scene of Kendall's death because it looked staged. Good thinking. And he also said that Officer Sutton was bringing to all the evidence that he found to the prop room. Now remember, this is October 3rd, 2007. And Officer Thomas was waiting for them to pick up Kendall. I immediately called Butchie Hampton because I wanted to see my son. I never would have believed what would occur. The only living relative would have believed that I was not allowed to see my son for over 5 days. So I went down there with Butchie. There was no crime scene tape. The door was wide open. The phone, Kendall's cell phone, was plugged in where he could have never reached it to make his final calls before he passed out. Because I got cell phone records. I think we used it. I can't remember. I was sort of going in shock. I think we used it to call Kendall's father, but I was in shock and Butchie had to take over the phone. So then we went back to my house where Detective Johnson, there was nobody there. The door was wide open, as if they were waiting for someone. So Butch took me back to my home. Johnson was on the phone with his wife. This was his very first case. I really can't tell you more than, I prefer not telling you more than I tried to get them out of the house as fast as I could. Then I went back all by myself to that house, which we closed the door. Excuse me, it was an apartment in the back on Montezuma Street, 724 South Montezuma, the third apartment. So when I went in, I looked around for people that were for the police officers that were supposed to pick up the evidence. I confiscated quite a bit myself.